Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 mk2, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Leper Colony writes in and just asks if I have any broader suggestions for doing vocal work or vocal recording on the SP404 mk2. And I guess I'll start by just saying what I've loosely got set up for my current microphone that I've got plugged in. It's going through a tube amplifier first. So that's just to make sure that I have a nice strong signal going into the rest of the chain. From there, I have that going into a compressor so that the intent is to try and take anything. So if I kind of fall off a little bit when I'm talking or when I am kind of moving my head around, to just try and keep at a more consistent volume or level so it's easier for people to hear, and hopefully you don't have to say like what all the time or anything else. So from there it goes into a de-esser and a little bit of more of a harmonic kind of like not resonator, but like there's a harmonic effect to try and like help boost some of the tones in my voice just to make it so it sounded like what I wanted it to sound like. So I think you kind of want to try and do something similar on the SP404 Mark II. Obviously, it's going to depend on what you have for a microphone, but if you have either a powered mic, like the CM15 here has a battery inside of it, it provides its own power, or if you get a dynamic mic, you can hook that up and put it into the system. So, and right out of the gate, we've got on the front, we've got our little gain knob here. So we can adjust the signal coming in. It can be a little bit of a balancing act because depending on how far away or how close you are to the microphone is going to depend on how much volume you have to project. And the more that you're projecting your volume, the more likely, if you don't have a treated room, you're going to pick up like the echo of the room or just like the noise of the room. So there is a bit of a balancing act. And you might hear some of the stuff as I go through and just kind of show you a few things I might suggest thinking about on the SP404 Mark II if you're looking to hook up a mic to it. Because you might start hearing some of the background noises for like cars driving by and things. And like I can't hear them very much right now because I got the headphones on and I got the microphone. So I've got a bit of a closed environment here, even though I am in obviously a space. And like if I was to speak up really loud right now, you would absolutely hear the room echo from that. But because I have all these effects going on in the mic, it's helping reduce some of that to try and improve the clarity. So it, I will just start by saying it depends on what kind of effects you're looking for and how you're trying to put this stuff together yourself. But we do have a pretty good suite of tools on the SP404 Mark II. So in my mind, where I would absolutely start is just as I said, trying to get your microphone, and I'm just going to push this away and we'll just move over here to this mic. So for the CM15, and you can hear like right now, I hear my headphones. It's the signal sounds lower, so it's not quite as strong. I can, and if I get really close to this mic, you're probably going to start hearing some popping or other things. And I did already have to, as I was just kind of like testing a few things and just refreshing myself on the SP404 Mark II doing vocal mic recording, I did have to take the gain down because I had this turned up and I have to start speaking really lower because if I speak too loud, I'm going to start clipping on my mixer. You just probably heard that click. And you can hear kind of that being a problem. So I'm just going to turn it down. And it means I have to speak up a little bit louder. And to compensate, I'm just going to hit the record button so we can see. You can go up to whatever will hit around -6 dB. You can see like by and large I'm still lower, but I can turn the gain knob up here, and the more I do that, the more I'm pushing up in here and risking potentially having some effects or other things that might start clipping digitally inside the SP404 Mark II. So I'm just trying to let you know like just some things to think about as you're kind of playing around. And we can see like I'm hitting red once in a while on EXT source. So I am digitally clipping even if you're not hearing it a whole lot. It's just going to be dial it into taste as best as you can. And you'll just kind of learn what makes sense and doesn't make sense. So the first thing I would do is go through your settings or your effects. We're going to hold shift and go I'm going to add a rec here. So we can't see our VU meter anymore, but shift EXT source. push in on enter, and we've got a pretty good selection of effects here. Just push enter when you're on bypass, and we can go through, and you can hear I'm already on auto pitch. Now, it is doing some things, but we can see here the balance is 100 dry. Well, we can turn that, go the other way, and now we're starting to get kind of more of a, I don't know, almost like a chorusy effect. Again, like this just depends on what you want to play with or see what works for you. But you can kind of mess around with like the formant and pitch and see if you actually like the tone of it. It might do something interesting. I found that this is tends to be more musical than like what I'm looking for just speaking. So I'd move off of that. Vocoder is what you'd expect. Harmony is kind of similar. It's just adding more of that. I actually would say if you're looking to get like specific tones, guitar amp sim is actually kind of cool. You can play around with this a bit and dial in some different values. It will favor more bassy sounds or more treble sounds depending on what you dial in. So, this is definitely, you can hear I'm kind of blasting out the signal a little bit, but I've found like this is a really good place to experiment with some of the vocal stuff if you're just looking to make some adjustments. Let's keep going. Chorus. This is just like if you want it. Juno chorus. Reverb, obviously adding in to make it sound like you're in the space of a room. Not bad, but I don't, to me, think that this is the best effect for kind of getting your vocals in, because you can use those effects as you keep going. Downer, another one. Interesting, a little weird. Warm so far I would say the guitar amp simulator. Warm saturator's another one that's pretty good for tone. I'd probably turn the drive down a bit here, but the drive and your EQ low, EQ high give you a pretty good amount of settings to experiment with and see how things go. Beyond that, 303 vinyl sim can, with the compressor, give you a pretty good sound. But this is where I'm going to turn this up, and you might start hearing like the cars driving by and stuff. Oop, wrong knob. Because what this is basically doing is it's picking up all of the noise that's going on. So if like my dog started walking around or anything else, it's going to bring those quieter sounds up higher in volume and kind of cap out how loud you can get as you are playing around. So this one I would definitely say check out, mess around with. I think a compressor early on in your signal chain is a pretty good idea. Beyond that, we've also got the 404 vinyl sim. I'm not as much a fan of this. We turn the wow and flutter and kind of tune the frequency. It does have a bit of a compression to it, which maybe is what you're looking for, but I'd say try out the 303 vinyl sim. It's just the one knob, and it's pretty easy to work with. Cassette sim is pretty nice, but again, I'll probably turn off wow and flutter and, adjust the tone to taste. I think you probably want tape hiss most of the time. Age gives you a bit of almost like a low pass filter, so it can be kind of nice to play with, but we hear like this a bit of an echo here, so not a huge fan. Lo-fi will really make some of your sound punchy. Again, another good tone effect. EQ, this is all zeros, so it's not doing anything. For me personally, I usually don't go for EQ because it's a 3-band EQ. You can adjust your low gain, mid, and high gain, and then kind of where those settings are. If you want something that's going to be an EQ, this is a nice early effect, and then go into a compressor. You can go the other way as well, but I would say usually try and get your volumes where you want them to. Go for a compressor first, then consider going into the EQ to sculpt it, or your tone or other effects. But this one's pretty good. And then what is it? Last is compressor. Yeah, you can hear the cars driving by now for sure. At least I think I can hear them in my headphones. So we have a bit more control over the settings. So at least we've got sustain, attack, and ratio. We don't. There's nothing documented that I've seen that it specifies exactly what these numbers do, but they do mimic or match what you'd get for a normal compressor. So you can go in and get your settings set here for the compressor, and then from here go into like bus 1, bus 2 to do some more creative control. So going through, what I would do personally is I'd probably go back to 303 vinyl sim personally on the EXT source for your input effects, and then start looking at what you want from there to kind of do your sculpting. You got isolator. You can get more of that like radio sound effect where it's kind of both compressed and losing some frequencies. You can get a similar effect going into the like an EQ immediately afterwards. Filter and drive, a little crazy, but you can get like that screaming into the microphone sound and not have to like blow out your voice box, your throat doing it. So I don't know, like I hope this is helps you out, but yeah, I mean from there, you're looking at your like end of chain effects would be like getting into crazy land, maybe doing some kodama where you get like a little bit of your delay and some other stuff. The delay reverb thing, always a great effect to get into. So anyway, as I said, I hope this helps you out, Leper Colony. I usually don't do a lot of microphone recording on the SP404 Mark II just because I'm usually doing more like loops or one-shots and stuff, and I don't know, I usually don't do a lot of vocal work except for just what I've gotten set up to record these videos. But anyway, as I said, hope this helps you out, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.